Hi, I'm Katherine, the founder of The Only Consultant and Prisma Tax Group. I specialize in tax preparation and accounting for sex workers and creators of all kinds. Thank you for tuning into Cash Content and Chaos, the podcast where money, entrepreneurship, and real life collide. Listen in to learn, laugh, and realize that you're not alone in figuring it all out. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Cash Content and Chaos with Katherine Studley. Today, we are speaking with the one and only spicy investor, aka Sadie. She is inspirational to girls in the industry because she is building wealth from sex work. Her tagline says she's aggressively investing your dad's money and helping sex workers become financially literate. So, Sadie, welcome so much.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, happy to discuss. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, your origin story. How'd you get started?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, thank you so much for having me. I think this podcast is amazing. So I was very excited to be invited on. And yeah, I'm ready to talk a little bit about myself, my origin story, how I got started in the industry, and ultimately investing to where I am today.
Yes, we're here. And to give you guys some context, we are friends on Instagram.
Yes, yes, we
That's how
are.
I know you. Yeah. So we've been like in the same, I don't know,
Like in the same
Instagram
space.
algorithm. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, a little bit about me. I'm Sadie, aka the Spicy Investor. A little bit about me. So I started dancing. I was a stripper. I think I was around 23 years old. And for reference, I'm going to be turning 30 very soon. So a handful of years. I started in the industry because I'm like, okay, this is fast money. This is an industry that's always piqued my interest even before starting. I never had any friends in the industry. So it's kind of something that I've always just wanted to try out. So I got into dancing, I was a baby dancer as we all call them. And in the beginning it wasn't really for me. So I was kind of like in and out of the industry also while being in school full time. But I would have to say that I dove back into dancing after COVID, like around 2021 when our club opened back up in Miami. That's when I was like, you know what? I want to get into dancing with a completely different mindset. I did have a bit of a financial wake up call, which I can definitely go into later. But I would say I hopped back into dancing and I dove back into it a little after COVID, or actually kind of like during COVID. And that's when I was like, tunnel vision. I know the money is here to be made. I know I can make that money. But now I'm coming in here with a completely different mindset, not here out of desperation, but I'm here to build something bigger than myself and something that's going to allow me to eventually leave this industry and ultimately have more options. So that's a little bit of the mindset when I dove back into dancing after a short break.
Got it. So you started moving with a different intention.
Absolutely.
Okay. And tell us about your financial journey, your investment journey. Where are you
Yeah.
now? And what were your first investments?
Yeah, so I do want to say I did have a wake up call, a very expensive wake up call that I wouldn't wish upon anyone else that it actually got me back in the club. So, blessings in disguise. Everything happens for a reason. I was one of those people that thought I could day trade.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that are successful, but, you know, during COVID, I was day trading, in my perspective, it's gambling your money. I was making a lot of money till I wasn't. I lost a terrible amount of money. It was about 6 figures.
Oof.
I
Oh,
know,
wow.
I
That
know,
is a wake up call,
but I made
man.
those 6 figures though. So
Okay.
I really tried to learn. I learned how to read charts. I learned how to understand what was going on in the stock market, but I made a lot of money, but at the end of the day, that's house money. And just, like, as quick as I made it, I lost it in the span of, like, I don't even know, like, maybe 3 months, and it totaled up pretty close to 6 figures, and as I know you know, I still had to pay those taxes.
Oh, girl.
I know, those short-term capital gain taxes. I didn't know anything about that either. I'm like, "Wait, taxes? But I lost all the money. I shouldn't have to pay them." So that's not how it works, and I know you know that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was my very, very expensive wake-up call, unfortunately, that I got in a terrible slump and depression naturally for a
Yeah.
few months, and I'm like, "You know what? If I made that, I can make it back and I can triple it." So,
Ooh, okay. So it's kind of
yes.
like your internship in a way. That was like your investing internship. Like you knew that you could do something with the money,
Yeah. I was like,
just not in
"Okay,
day
well,
trading.
this money is here." I learned enough to make it at some point. So, I got out of my slump. I got out of my depression. I was very embarrassed about what I lost. I never told anyone about it 'cause it's embarrassing. And I got my heels back on and I went in the club, but that was when I went in with different intentions, like we mentioned. I'm like, I want to be a real investor. I want to respect the money I'm making. I want to grow my money and be able to sleep well at night knowing that I'm not doing anything risky. I'm not gambling my money. I'm building my legacy. I'm building my portfolio. I'm buying and I'm holding stocks. So that was a kind of like a little bit of the entrance of, you know, my unfortunate wake up call and the mindset shift of going from gambling, day trading, trying to make a quick buck to truly embodying and becoming an investor, as in buy and hold long term assets.
Very powerful. And
Yes.
was this all when you were in school as well?
Yes. Yeah, it
Okay.
was.
And what do you have your degree in? You have 2 degrees, I think.
Yes, I do. So I got my bachelor's in health administration, and then I went along to get a scholarship and I got my master's in healthcare administration as well. We're still on the job hunt, but we're making it through this
Yeah,
job
sounds like
market.
you're okay for right now. You have your
I'll do
investments.
fine. I'll do
Yes.
fine. Yeah. So that's a little bit about how I started my journey with truly investing and most importantly, I love to say respecting my money. Work my
Oh,
ass off. And I know all the girls are working their ass off making this money, but I learned how to respect my money and truly how to grow it in a way that works for me. So that was the shift when I got back into the club. And that's how I started that journey.
okay. And how are you learning things? Are you reading books, podcasts? Are you talking to people? Where are your sources coming from? Have you ever felt like tax season was designed to make you stressed? Let's face it, your income doesn't show up as tidy as a W 2. Instead, it's split between cash, apps, and constant fees. Whereas most accountants see this as chaos, I in fact know that it's my expertise. Here at The Only Consultant, we meet you where you are and transform confusion into clarity and confidence. The Only Consultant specializes in accounting for sex workers and creators. I designed this firm to turn tax season from panic to power, giving peace of mind to hustlers like you. We help you stay organized, feel confident, and remain in control of your money with judgment-free support and simple systems. We handle all the complicated stuff such as tax prep, bookkeeping, and compliance support so that you don't have to. The result? The feeling of empowerment that comes from being fully in control of your bag. You don't need to wait until April. You can go ahead and start today. Simply go to theonlyconsultant.com and book your consultation now because peace of mind should be part of your hustle too.
I like my big thing is saying, like, Google is free, but just because Google is free doesn't mean we know how to utilize the internet as the tool it is or utilize social media as the tool it truly can be. I started by cleansing my social media and unfollowing all these day traders posting those wild screenshots I know we all see. I like did a spring cleaning and I started following finance influencers or influencers, whatever you guys want to call
Mm-hmm.
them, that center themselves around long-term investing. I can't remember their names at the top of my head, but following those influencers that do a really good job at, and really like simple, I guess, like simple terms, explain what is long-term investing? What does it mean? How is that accessible to me just as much as it's accessible to someone that maybe went to school for finance? I started reading books like The Psychology of Money, Die with Zero, The Millionaire Next Door. A big one I know you probably know of, it's called The Financial Feminist.
Mm-hmm.
That was a
Yep.
huge book. Another one called Girls That Invest. So a lot of really great books that I started gaining my knowledge from, as well as just doing my own research online, just going down the rabbit hole as simple as typing into your Google search bar, what is long-term investing? What are index funds? So just from those simple searches, I was able to kind of continue going down that rabbit hole alongside the new pages I was following online and the books I was reading.
Okay, so exposure and studying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you put in the work. Okay, and it's
Yeah,
accessible to people, which
it
is very
is.
inspirational, but I know that a lot of times money causes anxiety
It
and even
does.
just like just typing it into the Google search bar like it is that simple, but I think it
Yeah.
induces a lot of stress for people. So is that can you speak to your relationship with money growing up? Has it changed now that you know more about investing?
So I think I had a pretty good relationship with money growing up. I grew up, in a very financially stable home, like kind of like upper middle class home, working class parents. Unfortunately, I guess they weren't knowledgeable enough to like teach us about investing. Investing is something I learned about only 4 years ago. I mean, I've only been an investor for 4 years, but they kind of like taught us what money means and at least how to save money. Back in the day when I was a little girl, I used to get $1 every Sunday. And then we upped it to
Mhm.
$5. We negotiated that with my dad. And my brother and I, we would get a weekly allowance. If we really wanted something, we would save up our money. And by the end of the year, hopefully have enough money to buy what we wanted. But I think that's what really got me started like, oh, wow, I can accumulate, I can save what I earn, and then I can buy something or I can save my money. So just from an early age, seeing my parents do it, seeing my parents talk about money, talk about what's in the budget, what's not in the budget and pushing us to save our own allowances to buy the toys or the things we wanted, that was my foundation as a
Got
kid.
it. So you're learning the value of money young. If you only
Yeah.
get $1 a week, it's
Yeah.
gonna take some time to get something
Yeah,
good.
yeah, we upped that though. We upped it to $5 and then we got cut off when we grew up.
Love but it's a
Yeah.
good negotiation tactic as
It
well,
is,
learning
I love it.
negotiation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so that's kind of I always grew up around, like, the conversations of money, hearing my parents talk about it, hearing my parents, like, plan out vacations and, like, the numbers behind it. I grew up watching Susie Orman
Mhm.
and just, like, all those, like, finance TV shows I used to watch with my parents, so it was always a topic of conversation in my house in a good way.
Okay. Got it, and I think that that does make a difference too.
It
I'm talking
does.
with clients, sometimes they're like, "I've never discussed money. I have money
Yeah, yeah,
trauma." You're money
yeah.
insecure. Everyone has a different relationship with it. So interesting to hear your story there.
Yeah, I'm so fortunate to have a good relationship with money.
Yes, it makes a difference.
It does.
And now you have a brand. So you have the
I
spicy
do.
investor. So when did you start? So you started investing, and then when did you decide to start the brand?
So once I got back into the club with the mindset of wanting to be an investor, I'm like, hey, this is pretty cool. I have like about $1,000 saved up, invested here. Like I feel like I totally know what I'm doing, at least enough to get my friends on this, like, my dancer friends. So that's when I had the idea. I'm like, why don't I make an Instagram just for girls in the industry? So that's when I came up with the name, which is like, I love the name, The Spicy Investor.
So good.
And it's a page that I really wanted just for like people in the industry, in any umbrella of the industry. Sex work is huge. It's not just for exotic dancers, right? So that's how I started that. And I started just like showing a little bit of my journey, how I was starting. Like, look at what I'm investing into this week, guys. Like, also talking about my experience as a dancer. So it really became like more of my digital library, but along I guess, like, during that time, I was able to, like, accumulate a good amount of followers and help a bunch of women learn how to invest, learn about different types of investment accounts, and what to do inside of those investment accounts, most importantly.
Yes, and you do it in an approachable way, and you're very, very transparent.
Yes, I try to be.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Transparency is
accounts are
key.
not. Yeah, so you're screenshotting your accounts, and also when the market crashes, you're showing the same. You're like, I could sell right now and panic, but I know that's not the long-term game here. Like, I'm gonna wait
Yeah.
this out, and then we see the screenshots of when things go up again.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
even that exposure for the community, so you really are helping people understand money over time because 'cause you're consistently posting.
Yes, yeah. I think a lot of us, at least the most recent one, we remember the big market crash during 2020 during COVID times. That's kind of when I started my journey. So even that time in the market was very scary for me. I was like, "Oh my god, I'm losing all my money. Like, what does this mean?" But, with time, I started learning, like, no, the market, it doesn't go straight up. Over time, depending on what you are invested in, if you're investing your money safely, you will be gaining your interest, compound interest. So I started learning, like, these are the moments we should be most excited to buy. So I think COVID was when I really started learning, like, first off, like, the market can go up, but it could also go down. But those are moments we should embrace as long-term investors.
Very wise. Tell us
Thank
about what
you.
you invest in currently and what accounts you have going.
Yeah, so I'm very proud and privileged to say that I've grown my net worth to I'm pretty close to 950,000 right now. I know, it's so exciting and it's crazy because I lost so much money before I started investing. That backstory. I lost so much money and I never thought that I'd be able to even recuperate it because it was scary. I didn't know what
Yeah.
was going on and it was scary. I was left with a bruised ego and a tax bill.
Mm,
And
the
now
worst combo. It's a bad
It's
combo.
terrible, isn't it? It's terrible. I never knew I could grow my wealth to what it currently is. And as always, for full transparency, I want you guys to know that where I am now in such a short amount of time is absolutely contributions. Like I have been aggressively contributing or AKA transferring money into my investments accounts aggressively every single month since getting back into the club. So my net worth is where it is now because of, how my investments have grown, but it's also because I was contributing like at least up to 20 grand a month.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
also want to say that like you've been investing for 5 years and you aren't where someone else is at. It's nothing to be worried about. Like, just some people are able to invest a little more aggressively or larger amounts. So a lot of where I am at now is still those seeds that I've been planting that are still growing.
So when you say aggressively, like
Mhm.
what percentage of your total monthly income were you investing? Like of that 20 grand, how much did you make total?
Oh, man. Well, I mean, as of 2 years ago, I was living with my parents. So I had
That
very
helps.
low, yes, yeah. I had very low living expenses and I still have pretty low living expenses. It would vary every month, but I mean, up to 80%.
Okay. Yeah.
So as aggressively as in like much over at least minimum 70% a month, I'm paying for like my bare necessities and a few luxuries, but truly every dollar I was making, even now, I still invest pretty aggressively now, was being thrown into my investment portfolio.
Got it. And that's what this is individual. This is everyone has their own individual journey that they're
Yeah,
on and what situation that they
that's
are
why it's called
in.
personal finance.
Exactly. Well
Yeah,
said. But this even means, I mean, you don't have a G Wagon. I know you post all the time about your
I
vehicle that is paid
know.
off.
My Honda, my Honda Fit.
Yes. Very
Yeah.
sensible.
I know, and you know what, at the end of the day, I'm just human. I see, like, the pretty shiny things that everyone posts, and I want those things too, but at the end of the day, I am staying true to what my goals are, and I love seeing people enjoy the money that they work so hard for, but I just try to stay focused, and it's not easy on social media. Like, you guys have, like, amazing toys and amazing things that I also want, but for me right now, I just need to remind myself that I'm on a journey, I'm on a mission to creating what is financial freedom for me and what my definition of that is. So I really feel like I'm just getting started. So the pink Porsche can wait, but I will be driving it one day.
Love it. But you have
Yeah.
the high level in focus. The long
Yeah.
term
Tunnel
wealth
vision.
building is in focus all the time.
Yeah.
Does tax season leave you anxious, sorting through receipts, or worried you've missed something important? You're not alone. And that's exactly why I created the only consultant in Prisma Tax Group. My goal is to meet you where you are and give you judgment free solutions that make financial management simple, clear, and stress free. At The Only Consultant, our services go beyond just tax preparation and filing. Taking the confusion out of money starts with the basics, aka education and bookkeeping. We can track your income and expenses, which means you'll never have to scramble for receipts ever again, and you will fully understand what is going on. Additionally, I offer monthly subscriptions and ongoing guidance. With monthly support, you'll always have an expert in your corner, giving you real time answers, steady organization, and the peace of mind that lets you focus on your hustle and not the paperwork. We specialize in tax preparation and filing for sex workers and creators. When it's time to file, I handle your federal and state returns, maximize your deductions, and make sure the right forms get submitted for your unique income streams. The benefit? You save time, avoid mistakes, and walk into tax season feeling confident. Last but not least, we provide compliance and business consulting. So whether you need help setting up your business, staying compliant, or navigating something intimidating, I've got you covered. Instead of second guessing, you'll feel confident, supported, and ready to grow with someone who understands your hustle. And here's the best part. You don't have to do it all. You can choose the services that fit your needs right now, or let me and my team at The Only Consultant handle everything from start to finish. Either way, you will receive the clarity, respect, and financial confidence that you deserve. So if you're ready to feel in control of your finances, whether it's this tax season or all year round, head to my website, theonlyconsultant.com, and click contact. Or you can always find me on social media, Instagram and TikTok at the_only_consultant. Click the link in my bio and contact me there. We look forward to meeting with you.
Absolutely. And I still invest pretty aggressively. I still do my thing. I don't invest anywhere near what I used to when I was actively dancing in the club. But as long as I'm investing a high percentage of my overall monthly income, that's all I can do.
Yep. Okay. So let's pivot now into what you're doing now. So you were
Yes,
dancing and now you're doing more sugaring.
absolutely.
Okay, love that. So let's talk about feminine energy and how that is a
Yes.
currency. It's a little
That is my
controversial, but I think we
favorite.
should
It
get into
is.
it. Let's talk about it, girl.
I really think that feminine energy can be viewed as a currency, especially in our line of work, like in certain spaces, like ours, as for example, as dancers in the club. I feel like it's a currency because it really is just like money. It's something you can exchange for value, whether it be attention, opportunities, generosity, loyalty. And I really do feel like that feminine energy builds demand because at the end of the day, our clients are drawn to our authenticity, our confidence. It's what we radiate, when you walk in the room. So I guess like the way that we can link it to financial empowerment is when you understand your energy is currency, your feminine energy is currency, you stop giving it away for free in situations that don't serve you. You direct that energy towards like whether it be people or opportunities where you can grow your money, your relationships. So using the energy that we harbor, you know, as women is I think it's so powerful, especially in our space as sex workers. Our energy is not free, our time is not free, and we're able to link it to ultimately, our financial empowerment because it is an exchange.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how do you stay in feminine energy? This is something you see a lot, like stay in your feminine energy. How do
Mm.
you?
I feel like I don't know if it's cliche, but it's kind of like comes down to that beauty's in the eye of the beholder type conversation. I can only speak for myself, but the way that I've made sure I remained in my feminine energy has little to do with the outside and more to do with the inside.
Hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's more about like embodying my goal, embodying how am I going to be free to live my life in the most authentic way or in a way that I deserve, that works for me. How am I going to make sure that I only allow myself to be in spaces that are going to nourish me, help me grow, that aren't going to do me harm? So I think embodying, like, or even thinking about those questions is what led me to remain in my kind of like feminine energy. And it was more about like what's on the inside than on the outside. So it's easy to talk about how are we going to stay feminine on the outside? you know? But it was more about like the mindset for me is what kept me in that energy and what
Yeah.
ultimately attracted money.
Yes. And I think it's not just beauty. I mean, we're
It's
talking about
not.
energy. We're not talking about physical appearance. It's how you move, it's how you interact, it's how
It's how
you're
you carry
perceived.
yourself.
Yes. And honestly, this is something that I kind of grapple with as an entrepreneur because As a business owner, a lot of times I'm pushed, forced almost to be more masculine because that's
Yeah,
what the role demands because I'm a boss. But how do I balance that and actually lead with feminine energy? Like there's a way to be firm without being cruel. There's a way to move where it's still soft and effective without being like a man because that's not what my
yeah.
strength is
I feel
as a
like
leader.
yeah, absolutely. And it's really about entering every situation and leaving every situation with grace, with respect, with kindness. And I know we all have different personas in the club, but at least my persona in the club, very identical to my personality outside of the club, my real life, was just allowing myself to be in the presence of a client, of a man that respected me, that respected me. I don't have to be with the rowdy bachelor that is not respecting my boundaries because I don't need your money and I don't need your energy. Have a great night. And just leaving those situations with grace and respect has what it keeps him kind of grounded.
Yes, and preserves and protects what you're
Your energy.
cultivating. Yes, because once it gets penetrated, then you're thrown off.
Absolutely, and it's not easy, and I really feel like it's something I'm still learning today. It's not easy, especially in our industry. Like you said, a lot of us are pushed to be a little more masculine, demand what we want. I want this now, now, now. But instead of saying that, it's more about saying like, "This is what I deserve, and who is gonna give it to me?"
Mhm,
It's not
mhm.
about begging someone that is just not willing to give you what you want, whether it be their time or, their money. It's about finding who resonates with you and who sees your beauty, who sees your value and freely hands it over, whatever it is you're asking for.
Yes, it goes it's like that saying, like, "I don't chase, I attract."
Yes, and
You're
that is
waiting for it to
feminine
come to you.
energy.
This is a great conversation. Money and feminine energy. Okay, so you're sugaring now.
Mhm.
What are some misconceptions about sugar babies?
I think the biggest misconception is that it's easy money. And I know all of us know it's not easy money that have been in any aspect of this industry, but I guess like with sugaring, being a sugar baby, having a sugar daddy, it is not easy money. I know we all have different viewpoints or, find ourselves in different dynamics with our sugar daddies that we've had or currently have, but it's truly like a relationship. It is a relationship. I know it's an underlining business relationship, but depending on what your client is looking for, you're holding all the emotional baggage. You're maybe letting them vent about their hard day at work. Like you're kind of like that nurturer back, back to feminine energy. And that's something people pay for. So I feel like a common misconception is that it's so easy that you're just being sent money for nothing. And I know that's not everyone's experience, but at least my experience, it wasn't easy in the beginning.
Yeah, and it's a true profession. I mean, and as I'm dealing with more and more clients, and
Hmm.
we have clients that are doing all kinds of things under the sex work umbrella.
Yeah,
And it's also sugaring is scenario based. Everyone's in
it
a
is.
slightly different arrangement. So
Yeah.
there's nuances from the tax side, and there's also nuances from the scope side.
Absolutely. Everyone, it's not a one size fits all. I know a lot of people like, oh, where can I find a sugar daddy? Like, what website can I be on? Like, how do you find one? And I just feel like every situation and every man is going to be so, so different. So it's really about who you come in contact with and seeing if your energies align and ideally a generous man for your time. But I think that's the common misconception that it's so easy to snag a sugar daddy. He's going to start zelling me or Venmoing me all this money for nothing. It's not that easy.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it for sure.
Absolutely.
But you have found a way to make this work for you long term,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you're spreading the education as well,
Yeah, and I
which
I've
is very
loved
inspirational.
loved it because I've seen my own growth just as my followers have seen it. I've seen my own growth from like being a dancer slash student, retiring the club. I think I've been retired from the club for about a year and a half now because it no longer served a purpose in my life. It was a beautiful, amazing chapter in my book. And I did let it go gracefully because I just wanted to move on to see what else. life had in store for me. Life's been amazing, and learning how to cultivate and keep the relationships I did make while I was a dancer, which is how I continue investing and keep my income to where it's at.
Which is business at the end of the day. You're cultivating
It
your
is
CRM, your
business.
contacts. Yeah,
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 absolutely.
exactly. Well, Sadie, I think that's a great spot to leave it at. I do
Thank you.
appreciate your time and congratulations on all of your investing success.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking about these topics. I'm definitely an open book. I love to be transparent, and just my main thing is that if I can make a comeback from, my losses and be where I am today, truly anyone can do it.
Yeah, and I know that resonates with your community as well.
Absolutely.
So
We
where
deserve it.
if anyone's in the industry, where can they find you?
So you guys can find me just on Instagram. I don't have any other platform. So my handle is the spicy investor, and I'm on threads as well.
All right. You guys heard it here. Instagram and Threads, The Spicy Investor. Sadie,
Thank
thank you very much
you.
for your time. And
Thank you so much.
yes, I'll see you on the internet.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Cash Content and Chaos. If you had fun, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who would love it too. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at TikTok at the_only_consultant. And I'm also on X at the Only Consult. I will be back with more real talk on money, entrepreneurship, and life to remind you that you don't have to figure it out all alone. Be well, guys.